The Vanguard still believe Rasputin to be simply a war mind. He hasn't been that for a very long time.
I don't see how that's relevant.
What's happening, folks? It's Truss here and welcome back to Indie Scots. Today we're going to have a look at the mission Arecibo on Planet 10, or Io, whatever you call it. Arecibo is quite significant because the Arecibo message was an interstellar radio message sent into deep space from the Arecibo radio telescope in the hopes that an extraterrestrial intelligence might receive and decipher it. So, this is a message from something that we have to receive and decipher.
Hey Asher, are you picking up anything strange on channel J1869? Sounds kind of like music.
Channel J what? No, I hear nothing of consequence on any of my scanners, including this one.
That's weird. I bet I can track it back to the source.
So we go underground and we find this scene.
Are they scanning that thing, or is it scanning them? I don't think the Taken will go without a leader for long. Someone will try to take control. But when they do, we'll be there to stop them. There's a message encrypted in this music. Got it. Some kind of quotation. Real things in the darkness seem no realer than dreams. Asher, can you run an archive query for us? Asher. Channel's down. I'll run the query myself.
So what did that scene mean? Well, the quote, "Real things in the darkness seem no realer than dreams," is from the 11th century novel by Murasaki Shikibu and is commonly referred to as the world's first modern novel.
It turns out both the music and the quotation predate the traveler's arrival in this solar system. They're old.
It's called The Tale of Genji. The Tale of Genji follows the illegitimate son of a Japanese emperor. He is demoted to the lowest state, a commoner. When the emperor dies, Genji's half-brother takes the throne, but in secret, Genji takes his brother's woman. The emperor finds out about this and exiles Genji. Years pass, and with the emperor becoming blind, he starts to lose grip and power, so he orders the return of his half-brother Genji. The emperor dies not long after Genji's return, and his heir takes the throne. The new emperor, Rizei, knows Genji to be his real father, and so reinstates all the titles and honours that Genji should have had, but was taken from him by his half-brother. Okay, so there's 3 things we can take from this. Whoever is communicating with us wants to know that they are old, very old, even before the Traveller, because it's the first modern novel ever written in the 11th century, way before the Traveller ever came to our solar system. The second thing is the moral of the story, which I think says, "I may have been wronged, but I will reclaim what is mine." Third, the quote itself, "Real things in the darkness seem no realer than dreams." In other words, question everything, even that which you know to be true. We then have to find another music box. When we find it, the Vex don't seem to know how to react. It's almost as if they're having every possible reaction at once.
There's another old quotation encoded here. Misdirected by accident or intent, intelligence can foster its own ecstasies of growth and decay. The weird thing is this audio file was just updated. So, this can't be a time capsule. Someone's trying to talk to us. No, something. This has to be an AI, right? An old golden age AI, like failsafe.
The quotation this time is from the 1993 Octavia Butler sci-fi novel, The Parable of the Sower. To quickly summarise the parable of the sower, it's set in a world wrecked with climate change and is set around a main character called Lauren. Lauren's belief is that humanity needs to leave Earth and go settle amongst the other planets, maybe even the other stars, in order for humanity to survive. Pretty much like the Dead Orbit.
There's time yet.
But this time I think there's two things we can take away. The quote itself saying that by accident or intent we can become good or bad, and so can everything else. After all, the Vex, the Hive, the Fallen, the Cabal, the Taken, us, Rasputin, all of these things can be considered intelligences and can foster growth and decay. The growth and decay being the good or bad part. And second, the moral of the story, that we as a species need to own our own accidents and our own intents and grow up. So now we have to go find a third music box.
This one says, once war has been undertaken, no peace is made by pretending there is no war. What does that mean? By pretending there is no war? I'm not sure I like the new guy.
The quote is from an ancient Sanskrit poem, the Mahabharata, which contains another relevant quote about the ceremony to crown a new king. Be like a garland maker, O king, and not like a charcoal burner. In this quote, the garland symbolises harmony, flowers of many colours and types, all coexisting in harmony. Where in contrast, the charcoal burner symbolises the brute force reduction to uniformly lifeless ash. This holistic perspective is something we lack, and it's not the first time we've been told so.
I can't get them to stop. They want to tell me about the Virgo prohibition and how its algorithms are wrongly deployed for the Mars environment. How is that even relevant?
They say you lack a holistic perspective. According to the network, they are sending you help.
So what can we take from this? Well, two things. First, once war has been undertaken, no peace is made by pretending there is no war. In other words, we must either remember something we've forgotten or stop pretending that there's not another choice to be made and choose a side. And the second thing, that there is two options, that what we are doing is not the only choice, that there is another option on the table. The last part of our wee journey down this rabbit hole takes us to a war mine bunker. Upon entry, the Vex teleport in from God knows when, but with the clear aid of the music boxes we defeat the Vex assault. So we have a look around and we stumble across an inactive music box and scan it to reveal that someone Bray has scrubbed the data.
Looks like this thing used to store files. Someone by the name of Bray scrubbed the data.
I think this Bray in question is Clovis Bray, and I'll explain why. Clovis Bray was the greatest mind humanity had ever produced. His accomplishments speak for themselves. He colonised Mars, built its famous freehold. There's also the ecologies he built across the solar system, the two of which we know are on Venus and Titan. The first one on Venus was the Destiny 1 Crucible map Asylum, and Titan's New Pacific Arcology from Destiny 2. The New Pacific Arcology on Titan is where I suspect people went to be transferred into their exos. After all, computers on Titan are 75% efficient as opposed to their 25% efficiency on Earth, simply due to Titan's temperature, enabling much better cooling and therefore performance. This is called the Landauer's limit. Can you imagine how good Destiny would look on a PC playing on Titan? Fuck, for just a few percent of Titan's energy budget, you could run a computer able to simulate the minds of the entire human population 1 million times over. That's a lot of computing power. And with Titan's core being made of silicon, the materials are already there. So why would a guy who could achieve all of this simply roll over and die? He wouldn't. I mean, he can grant others a new mind, a new body, to live well beyond their years by making the exos. So isn't it logical to assume he done the same? I think it is, but I think he went one better. I think Clovis Bray kept the best for himself. The ultimate exo-body, one capable of reaching across the solar system and beyond. Clovis Bray became Rasputin. I mean, who better to protect his interests than himself? Consider this quote from Master Raoul. I wish I could walk the halls of Clovis Bray. Losing their machinery to Rasputin is unfortunate. Clovis was just protecting his own interests. He was taking back what was already his. Clovis Bray knew the codes to take over his own facility. He knew how his own machinery worked. It'd have been a very easy takeover if Clovis is Rasputin, and it makes a whole lot of sense.
This AI once connected to the war mind of Mars.
Так и нет и добродетели. Значит, все позволено.
Rasputin's controlling it. I can't get in, and neither could the Cabal. He's everywhere now.
But the reason Clovis chose Rasputin as his new name is the real Rasputin was like him in a lot of respects. Grigory Rasputin was born to peasants in Siberia. As a young man he took an interest in religion and healing. He became a Stranic or monk. Over the years, his influence steadily grew until in 1905 he met the Russian Tsar. The Russian Tsar's son was suffering from haemophilia at the time, and Rasputin seemed to help his son. So, as Rasputin's relationship with the Russian royal family grew, it caused a split at court. Some seeing Rasputin as a visionary, a prophet, and an all-round good guy, but others seeing a religious charlatan, much like how Clovis splits opinion. Rasputin's power peaked when the Tsar went to the front line during World War I. But when Russian defeats mounted, he became increasingly unpopular until his assassination, which the events of are still hotly debated to this day. But as the story goes, he was invited to dinner at the palace, his food laced with cyanide, but when this had no effect, he was offered some wine which was also spiked. Seeing Rasputin enjoying a nice meal, he was then shot 3 times. But when returning to his body later on, guards could not find it, until they were attacked from behind. Rasputin was stabbed another twice in the ensuing melee, his body wrapped in a rug and thrown in the Volga River. A few days later, Rasputin's dead body appears on the shore, so they build a pyre to burn it, but as Rasputin's body burns, apparently his body sits up in Wales. Rasputin had the last laugh. This is why he's sometimes known as the Undying Man. Akin to our Rasputin destiny, and how the Vanguard didn't know if he was alive or dead, and we still don't know if he's there, or you don't quite know if he's alive or dead, much like the real life Rasputin being called the Undying Man. He killed him so many times to make sure he was dead. So let's get back to these music boxes.
Weaponized music, creepy quotations, all signs point to Rasputin. But I don't understand how he could be here. That music, it hurts. Just give me a second. It says, never ask for anything, never for anything, and especially from those who are stronger than you. They'll make the offer themselves and give everything themselves. I don't understand. Something's happening. Hey, sorry, I spaced out for a second there. What were we doing?
The quote is from Mikhail Bulgakov's 1964 book, The Master and Margarita. This novel deals with the interplay of good and evil, innocence and guilt, courage and cowardice, exploring such issues like the responsibility towards truth when a higher authority would deny it, and the freedom of spirit in an unfree world. Then the ghost is hijacked by a voice. The ghost has no recollection of the last few seconds. What does this all mean? Well, the thing or authority that is stronger than us must be the traveller. Come to think of it, humanity, us, We have only ever sought its blessing. We have only ever asked it for its blessing. Yet, when the darkness came, it released the ghosts. It gave everything itself. So let's try putting all of this together. First, he evokes the story of Genji, a man not allowed to reach his rightful place, but who ultimately does so in the end. Second, to stop pretending that we are the only ones who can be good, and that the enemies are the only ones who can be bad. Third, that we must pick a side and that there is two sides. And 4, that the Traveller may not be as what we thought. So I think Rasputin just told us that he's Clovis Bray and that the Traveller is his enemy, and that we need to stop pretending that there was no war between Rasputin and the Traveller, and that we must pick a side in that war. A statement like that definitely explains why Dr. Shanice Pell talks the way she does. Between the Ishtar Collective's endless audits and Clovis Bray's network protocols, I thought we would never make it. Secret initial blueprints and hand-to-hand relays, recruit personnel brave enough to challenge the Traveller at its own game, secure mining rights in the belt for materials. I remember when it was all just a dream in our heads. So the weird voice...
I don't understand. Something's happening. Hey, sorry, I spaced out for a second there. What were we doing?
So that voice is Clovis Bray, saying the exact location humanity first crossed paths with the Traveller, and the location where Clovis Bray would end up setting up his headquarters. The ghost has no memory because he was hacked, keeping the lying wee bastard out the way long enough so as the truth could come out. So what do you guys think? Hit the buttons at the bottom and let me know. Thank you for watching Indie Scots, and I'll leave you with this quote from Mikhail Bulgakov. Kindly ponder this question. What would all your good do if evil did not exist? And what would the earth look like if all the shadows disappeared? After all, shadows are cast by things and people. Here is the shadow of my sword, but shadows also come from trees and living things. Do you want to strip the earth of all trees and living things, just because of your fantasy of enjoying the naked light? If you do, then you're stupid. See you all next time.
Last time his presence was almost physical. I think he was trying to communicate, but we did not understand.